What's going on, guys? My name is Eldeniro and welcome to episode 4 of my Leicester City career mode on FIFA 15. I can't believe we're at episode 4 already. It feels like only yesterday that I got the game. But today is actually the day that the game comes out officially in stores. So have you got the game? And actually one thing I did really want to know was what console are you guys getting the game on? Because it's really intrigued me to notice how many people have changed over to PlayStation since the birth of the next gen consoles, or I guess we could call them current gen consoles at the moment. But then EA bring out all of these things like legend cards being exclusive to Xbox and early access and stuff, and I want to know what console you guys are on, so let me know in the comment section specifically what console that you're using. As you see, we are taking on Stoke in this episode. That's who we are opening the action up against, and this is some Wednesday night football because of international fixtures. They rearranged it, even though they didn't do that in real life because this game was only last weekend, well, the weekend before last, but you know what I mean. But yeah, Mackay-Steven returned. He was starting the game from the bench, so there was a chance I could bring him on. He had a little plaster next to his name, so I didn't know if he was going to be able to compete or not, but I stuck him on the bench anyway just to be sure, because Stoke City have a reputation for being a club who plays the ball like a long ball from the back, but like realistically speaking, Tony Pulis left the club a long time ago and they don't play like that anymore, not under Mark Hughes. They actually do play some entertaining football, so I thought it would be a difficult game, and to prepare for it I thought it would be good to have a player like Mackay-Steven on the bench, considering he has been a pretty important figure in our opening 2 games of the season. But just before half time we were sort of putting some pressure on Stoke and trying to get something going with Andy King on the edge of the area. His shot was saved by the goalkeeper and cleared by the defender for a throw-in. You'll notice in FIFA 15 a lot of defenders love just belting the ball out of play for a throw-in when you put them under the slightest bit of pressure. But inside the second half it was all Stoke City, as Stephen Ireland got a shot off on Kasper Schmeichel, which was saved and went out for a corner kick. And then a minute later I brought on Gary Mackay-Steven as he comes on in place of Leonardo Ulloa. How's that? Did I pronounce his name right that time? I spent about like 15 minutes last night researching how the hell you pronounce his name, and I'm fairly confident that that is how. As you see, Glenn Whelan, or actually Steve Sidwell, hits the crossbar there in the 56th minute, and then Stoke City came forward again just 7 minutes later with Asaidi on the ball, and he was coming down the right hand side. He played a well placed pass into Stephen Ireland, and Steve Sidwell's shot was saved once again by Kasper Schmeichel in this mental game. But inside the final 10 minutes of the game we came and we tried to get rid of the ball, but we're just unable to do so, and Stephen Ireland finds Glenn Whelan in the box. He finished with a pretty nice finish, in all honesty, to give Stoke the lead, and this was just like it was just draining. It was exhausting the whole second half. I felt as though we could have played a lot better than we did, and we came on the attack immediately after going down to try and get something out of this game, and Jeffrey Schlupp's shot was saved very well by the Stoke goalkeeper and put out for a corner kick, from which we got one more chance in the game as Dave Nugent heads it just over, which was unfortunate. Had it dipped, it would have been a goal, as there was nobody on the line and the goalkeeper was miles off it. But into the final minute of the game we come with Vardy inside the box. His header down finds King, who hits it woefully wide with such a miscalculated volley. But then we come up into the final minute of stoppage time with Vardy on the ball. He finds Gary Mackay-Steven, the substitute, whose deflected shot goes just wide, almost dipped in under that crossbar, but it wasn't to be. And we end the game at the Britannia Stadium with a 1-0 defeat, which is a shame because it's our second defeat in a row. You may remember we lost to who was it we lost to at the in the last episode? It was Arsenal, in a game where we actually played really well and deserved better. But then our next game is at the King Power Stadium against Manchester United, and this isn't real life. I didn't go into this game expecting to win 5-3 in a super entertaining game, which I've seen every single Leicester game this season in real life. And the Man United game last weekend was so fucking good. Like, I'm sorry to all the Man United fans that you guys lost and everything. It's just like, from a kind of neutral perspective, it was a very, very entertaining game and I really did enjoy it. But inside 10 minutes Robin van Persie came forward for the visitors. His shot was saved by Kasper Schmeichel and the rebound was bundled in by Daley Blind, the Dutch holding midfielder who recently joined Man United. And this was a real shame for us. It was a real sort of just a momentary lapse in concentration in the back after what was a relatively uneventful start before that. But the finish itself wasn't even that good. It actually got a deflection off Richie Delat, who probably could have done a lot better to keep that out, but it was just unfortunate, I guess. But in the 22nd minute of the game, Mark Albrighton gets a shot off from distance, which was saved by Lingard, who for some reason played ahead ahead of David De Gea in this game. But then we come up to the 32nd minute and Gary Mackay-Steven goes down injured yet again. He's only just back from injury. He didn't have a plaster on his thing, like his what would you call it, his overall fitness was actually 100%. He was fully match fit. He had recovered from his previous injury in time for this game, but he picked up yet another injury, and that was as a result of that tackle from, I think it was Chris Smalling in defence, and that should have been a free kick as well, by the way, but it wasn't. But I brought on Nugent to replace him just to see what would happen, and then just before half time, Albrighton gets put through on goal and sees his shot go straight at the goalkeeper and subsequently saved. And just before half time, a terrible goal kick from Kasper Schmeichel goes to Wayne Rooney. He finds Robin van Persie, who thankfully doesn't manage to score with his right foot, because that was just a disgraceful goal kick. I was trying something different, you know. I was trying to kick it towards Dave Nugent, and there's a few different things that you can press when it comes to your set piece tactics, and I was sort of toying with that at the wrong moment, I guess. But Marwan Fellaini missed a chance there in the 49th minute, which could have done a lot better from, and then Ujoa hits a shot over in the 67th minute, which I thought he could have done a lot better from, but unfortunately not. And then the ball comes to Simpson, making his first start of the season in the 70th minute, in the league anyways, and he just runs straight into the box with the pace, but he got the ball got stuck under his feet because of the tackle, and he only could hit it first time, and it just went wide. It was very unfortunate. And then in the 90th minute, a Dave Nugent strike from distance goes wide, and the game ends with another defeat. That's our third consecutive defeat, our third consecutive 1-0 defeat, in fact. So that's 3 games in a row that we haven't scored from, which is a shame, and 3 defeats in a row, which I don't really think we deserve because of how we played. And we find out after coming out of that game that Gary Mackay-Steven is going to miss another 8 days through injury, which is just it's just annoying, I guess. But our next game is in the Capital One Cup away from home against Bournemouth. We beat, who did we beat in the last episode? Nottingham Forest, our local rivals, obviously. The Bournemouth team has actually got a lot of familiar faces in there. Dan Gosling, Junior Stanislas, Sage Francis. No, I don't know who that right back is, but his name is Francis. But Junior Stanislas, obviously, he's a former Premier League player, and so too is Dan Gosling, who used to play for Everton and Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken. We completely changed our team around in this game. As you can see, players like Antai, Upson coming into the team, Boyata playing at right back, Hammond in midfield, he doesn't often play, and Chris Wood making his first appearance of the season. But it was the hosts who scored first in kind of shocking fashion just after 2 minutes, when Junior Stanislas dispatched a header into the back of the net from their first attack of the game, and pretty much like the first anything that happened in the entire game. And they came down the left-hand side in the 22nd minute and forced an amazing save from Kasper Schmeichel at the near... Actually, it wasn't Schmeichel. I played Hamer in goal for this one because he has a really nice beard, and I felt like he deserved a chance up front just because of that. But Vardy comes flying through in the 26th minute with his pace to get round all the players ahead of him, but unfortunately he couldn't finish with his left foot. I'm still not exactly sure how to finish one-on-one chances. Like, I've tried finessing it, that hasn't seemed to work. Right there, I tried power, that hit off the post and came back out, and I think for the amount of strikers that I have and the amount of strikers that I've given different opportunities to up front, there hasn't really been one standout yet. I thought Ujoa would do a lot better because he's doing really well in real life, but that hasn't happened, and I'm just not too sure where the goals are going to come from this season. As you see, Chris Wood's header getting cleared off the line in the 41st minute, and then just before the halftime whistle, Vardy and Wood play some nice link-up play here as Wood gets into the box, and I thought he would have scored from that, but an amazing save from the goalkeeper. Such an unorthodox punch to keep it bouncing along the line like that, and it could have gone in, but we got a corner kick, and I decided to crowd the keeper from the corner, and that resulted in a goal as James Vardy gets into the box and scores our first corner goal of the season with a fairly tidy finish as well. I just went with that crowd the keeper option because I've never used it before, and I just wanted to see what it would do, because there's a lot of new little elements to set pieces, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm keen to try out. But we started out the second half in amazing fashion with Chris Wood scoring in the 47th minute on his first appearance of the season. Someone asked me in the last episode why I haven't played Chris Wood yet, and the reason is that Leicester haven't really played him in real life in the league, and I've watched all of their games, and I wanted to kind of model my career mode on the way that they play and stuff. It's like method career mode make. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that good. But in the 74th minute, that player that we loaned from Spurs, Onoma, I think is his name, he plays it into Hopper. Tom Hopper, I think is the guy's name, who went in and scored, and that's his first ever goal for Leicester. It happened in the Capital One Cup against Bournemouth. It's only his 4th appearance ever for the club as far as I know. It's the first game that I've ever let him him play in. But I think he's played 3 games for the Leicester City first team before that, and he was on loan at Bury or Bury or however you pronounce that place in League One last season. So it was pretty good. He asked me if he could play, and I was like, no, obviously not. But then I decided to put him on the bench anyways and brought him on, and he ended up scoring and rounding off what was a pretty effective 3-1 win away from home in the Capital One Cup to see us go into the next round, which I think is pretty handy overall. But yeah, that's been episode 4. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying this series. If you are, please do leave a like. Likes are kind of really crucial in the growth of a channel at this early stage of FIFA, so I would really appreciate it if you guys would hit the like button. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.